close.
All right. And I will not be linking the monitors to anything anymore unless it's a specific thing.
What happened?
Oh, well, we just don't need to because the courthouse is open.
Well, we do though, because we might have somebody come in and then they need to be able to be, we do. I know the courthouse is.
It's not going to be on YouTube.
Oh, maybe it doesn't need to be. That's a good point. Maybe I need to stop that after today. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm chatting here. I'm going to ask everyone to mute your device, and it's just 10 o'clock. So I'm going to wait till about 2 or 3 minutes after, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And I don't see a court reporter. I don't know if anyone requested one. I guess someone will let me know if they did. We should have a court reporter anyway. Did we request one or no?
Sure, I'm sure.
Okay. All right, yeah, I'm going to wait till 10:02 just so I can be sure who I've got here. Let me mute that. Okay.
I don't think that's over.
All right. Well,
If nobody.
we may not. If they're defaults, they're not going to want one. That was my most important lesson to my Emory students. If it's a default, do not do takedown. They were like, why? Like, just think about it for a few minutes.
And don't ever have takedown returns in the hearing. Yeah, we had a little an intern come from Big Law once. You sure you want to put her? And he was like, they told me to always request one.
It's, yeah.
He's back in 2 weeks. We were like,
1 minute. I'm going to wait one more minute. I'm sorry. I know we may not have anyone else coming on the call, but I just want to,
How do I get back?
as soon as I get started and then someone's going to show up late and that'll be more problematic than needs to be. All right, 10:02. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Diane Besson. I'm the judge presiding over this calendar. Actually, you know what, Amy? I left the calendar. Oh, no, I have it. Like, never mind, forgot it. All right. This is civil bench trial calendar for May 4th, 2021. My name is Diane Besson. I'm the judge presiding over this calendar. It was a longer calendar, and to your liking, a number of the cases have come off the calendar. I'll call those anyway. But what I'm going to do, I have a number of cases that are going to require testimony, but I only have 2 that I think are collection matters that are going to be resolved pretty quickly. So I'm going to jump to those first. The first one is position 13, Midland Credit versus Daniel McElroy. Do I have counsel on that?
Judge Daniel Green for the plaintiff, I believe. You're talking about position 14, right?
It's technically 13. I know the way the numbers work is, but yes, that's the one. I need a military affidavit. There's some question about whether or not defendant has filed bankruptcy. Were you able to verify that, Amy?
Yes, that case. He filed a notice of intent to file bankruptcy.
Okay, do you have PACER or not?
No.
Okay, well, I've got PACER. I can look it up later. I guess the question is, do you, Daniel, do you have a military affidavit on that?
Let me look to see if they
File bankruptcy?
did. Well, I can do a bankruptcy search if you want me to, but did they file a formal motion for default on this one?
I think he's talking to himself.
Kind of, yeah.
We can check after. The only thing, I can check that after, but I just, the question about the mill.
I can send the military on this one today.
All right, and so what I'll do, if you'll make a note, Amy, on this for me to check Pacer after.
I'll send that to her today.
Okay, great. And then I'll be able to issue judgment on that. And then there was one other that is probably also yours, Jefferson Capital versus McYoung Kim, number
Yes.
15. I also need a military affidavit and a business record affidavit, so I don't know if you don't have those things.
I can get those filed.
Is there
When do you
anyone
want them
on here?
filed by?
McKeon King? All right, we'll
When-
hold it, if you can get that filed.
Thank you.
If not, no fees sought. So are those,
No, Judge, I have,
well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna start,
okay.
oh, you know which one might be yours?
Bank, number 6.
Yeah. No, not Wilmington, but
No, there was one other that I
Position
just had to
9,
sign an
Wells-
order on.
Wells Fargo versus Simpson.
Versus Simpson? That's number 8. We had it taken off on March 8th because it's settled.
Okay. No, I thought that was Alex. Oh, you're saying Alex Simpson is off?
I'm looking it up, but that's what my note says.
So Judge, on Alex Simpson, we had come to an agreement, but the defendant didn't return it. So we were hoping to move forward with our default.
Oh, okay.
That's my notes on it.
And I'm sorry, which position is that?
Position 9, I believe.
8, 8.
Sorry, 8.
All right, so I don't have the paperwork on that because I thought it was settled. Is Alex Simpson on the call? All right, are you going to be on our 1 o'clock calendar?
What's that one today?
Oh, maybe not. It's a sort of cases that said they settled, but we don't have paperwork on them like this one.
Maybe. Do you mind, Miss Abrams, do you mind emailing me a copy of that calendar?
Copy of what?
The calendar.
The
for
1
it.
o'clock?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, I'll tell you what, let me just, as for position number 8, I'm not, so to be, I don't have the paperwork on that. I don't know what the status is. So let me take a look at that after the calendar. And I may have to, I hate to say, I may have to reset it.
Okay.
If not, and again, Alex Simpson is not here on the call. It may be that I can handle it at 1 o'clock since there's
Okay,
nobody here now on it. So I'll take a look at that and see. I have a feeling you're going to be with us at 1 o'clock. I could be wrong,
Okay.
but Amy will email you.
Thank you.
The only other one that I'm showing, and it might be yours, is position 2, Citibank versus Brenda Render.
That one, if we could continue, we have a settlement forthcoming in that one.
Oh, you do? Because I've got everything's in order here. I just had a default, but you're saying that one is settled.
Yes.
Okay.
And
So
then-
let me. I'm going to indicate to hold this until we get a settlement agreement from you. Okay.
position 15 is that one taken off? I know that department stores versus
Yes.
Aretha White. Okay.
Oh, no,
Saw
you already
for a minute.
just 15. No, wait. Yes, that was removed. Defendant had
Yeah,
surgery on
I saw her
4/28.
note. And then do you have a State Farm versus Dewberry, or maybe that one is at 1 o'clock? I think.
I do not have that now, so that could be at 1 o'clock.
All right, the last one, Judge, is Republic Finance versus Ahmad Dusin.
Okay, so that I do have on this calendar. I can take that. And the
He's
reason
here.
I've got a note is Mr. Amadasan on the call?
Yes,
I-
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, good, because I had a note that when you were last on the calendar, there was a question about you had made payments, sir, and I think you and plaintiff's counsel were going to discuss what balance might be due. And so, Mr. Green, do you have a report on that?
Yes, Judge. I have a redacted account information showing that the balance was $8,406.34. Payments were made in the amount of $4,290, leaving a remaining balance of $4,116.34.
Okay, and did you, Mr. Amadasan, are you in agreement that that's the balance that's still owed?
No, Your Honor. The plaintiff came to court, Your Honor, asked, and they filed. This is the unfiling, that what was owed was $2,499. $2,499. That is
Okay.
what they filed.
So
I
let me
don't know.
just say.
I don't know. Sorry, Your Honor. Okay.
That's okay. Let me just say, if there's not an agreement as to what's owed,
Right.
then I can't go, I would say, Mr. Green, I don't know if you're ready to go forward today. Do you have a witness here?
Judge, I was just found out that our witness is having some issues this morning. So she asked that,
All right, would she be able to be back at 1 o'clock? And I would also ask Mr. Amadasan if you would be able to be back at 1 o'clock. If not, I can just,
No, Your Honor. Because I'm still out of town, Your Honor. I'm not in the country.
all right. So then I'm going to reset this. When are you going to be back, sir?
End of May.
Okay, but I'm going to set this for a calendar sometime in June.
There's a summary
Okay.
judgment pending. You can do one on the motion,
Maybe there is a summary judgment pending. So let me take a look at that. And I'll
Okay.
notify you both, either if I'm able to rule on the pleadings that have already been filed. If
Okay.
not, the case will be set down for a trial here in my courtroom when you're
Judge,
back. in
just so
town.
you're aware, there are actually two motions for summary judgment. There's the defendant's motion and then there's the plaintiff's motion.
Okay. Well, what does that tell us?
It tells us that we'll probably be back here in June.
It tells us we'll be back. There might be some dispute on the facts. Okay. So if we're going to send out, I'll take a look at the motions that have been filed. And if I can resolve the case that way, I will. If not, you'll both receive a notice for trial here at the courthouse in June. Okay.
Thank you, Judge. I'll see you at 1 o'clock.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank you.
Amadasan, did you have any questions, sir?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
Thank
All
you.
right.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience on that. I know the other cases were going to require some testimony, and I wanted to get rid of those collection matters first. Let me go through the calendar now. The first case is Khalil Mohammed et al. Versus David Rhodes. Do I have counsel here for plaintiffs? Mr. Bozeman, is this yours? I mean, Mr. Davis, are you here? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Are you
Yes.
here? Good morning. Are you here for Mohammed and Schubert versus Rhodes?
I am, Your Honor. We're ready to proceed. Our client is present here.
Okay, and,
exhibits were filed yesterday.
oh, they were, exhibits were filed. Let me go look at those. I'm assuming, is anyone here or is Mr. David Rhodes here? Anyone here on his behalf? All right, then I am ready to take testimony. If you will understand, this is an automobile collision. There are two plaintiffs. And again, I know I'm going to go through all these others as I understand it. Well, let me just one more thing. Hold on. I've got one other collections case. Is there anyone here? And I'm sorry. I just want to sort of get these out of the way because these others I know are going to take a little time.
No problem, Your Honor.
I think I may just have one other. Is there anyone here on Wilmington Savings Fund versus Eugenia Doyle?
I'm
Your Honor,
present.
Mark Baker, represent the plaintiff.
I'm present.
Okay. Have you folks had a chance to talk?
No, we have not.
No, Your Honor.
Is that something, Mr. Baker, you think might be helpful?
Well, I'm certainly willing to talk with Ms. Doyle.
Yesterday, in this case,
If,
Like a different file number.
let's see, Ms. Doyle, if you will chat me your phone
Um,
number, I will give you a
I
call.
can, yeah, I can put you in a breakout room if that's
Okay.
something that you both are comfortable doing. You'll get an invite from me that will send you to breakout room 1.
Okay,
And then when you get in there, you can talk privately about the case. And when you're finished, you have to leave the breakout room and actually come back into this main room. And then I can get an announcement from you. And that way you can be doing something while I'm trying to take some of these. Please let me, Mr. Baker, I don't know why I don't see. Oh, there you are, Mark Baker. All right, breakout room 1.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You should get that invite in a minute. It'll
Right.
say join. There you go. And just come back in when you're finished. All right. Now, let me go back. Mr. Davis, sorry to interrupt. Okay, let's start again. So who is here to testify on behalf of plaintiffs?
Your Honor, we have present to testify. We have Jalil Muhammad, Summer Shumpert, as well as Khalil Muhammad.
It's Jasir Muhammad, actually.
Yasir.
Jasir. Okay, so all 3 plaintiffs are here. Okay. And you're the 3 that are in, you're all seated together. Is that right? You're all in the same room? All right. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand where I can see it, all 3 of you. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're going to give in this matter is the truth and the whole truth?
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
Thank you. And let me just state, this is the case of Muhammad et al. Versus David Rhodes, civil action file number 19EV002440. And I have Mr. Davis here on behalf of plaintiffs, and I have no response from any of the defendants or counsel. Okay, so I am ready for testimony.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will begin, Your Honor, with Mr. Jasir Muhammad. Jasir, can you just state your name and how old you are?
My name's Jasir Amin Muhammad, and I'm 12 years old.
And where do you go to school, Jasir?
Time for learning, school,
Okay, and what grade are you in?
7th.
Okay. Do you remember being in an accident with your brother Khalil?
Yes, sir.
And where were you sitting at the time of the accident?
In the back seat,
And describe, you were on the back of what?
a moped,
Okay, so you're on a scooter. And where were you guys coming from?
Oh,
Jasir, do you recall?
He said he doesn't remember.
Okay, fair enough. Can you tell the judge what you remember about the incident?
what I remember is me hitting Khalil, and I'm on the floor, and I just see him, and we're just at the hospital. That's really all I remember.
Okay. You remember falling onto the ground?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And tell the judge, once you fell on the ground, what areas of your body, what parts of your body were injured?
My elbows, my knees, and my head.
Okay. And what can you describe those injuries on your elbows? Let's start with your elbows. What happened to your elbows?
It was just a few scratches.
Okay, so they were scratched. You have any issues with your stomach area?
No, sir.
Okay, and your knees?
Just a few scratches. It felt fine.
Okay, and then you said your head. What about your head?
It kind of hurt, but it healed over time.
All right, and do you remember whether or not the doctor gave you any medicine?
No, sir.
Okay, you don't remember that. Okay. Before this accident happened, were you having any pain in your knees or elbows that were scraped up?
No, sir.
Okay. And were you having that head pain before this happened?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have any scars from the collision?
No, sir.
Okay, so everything is healed up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Your Honor, I have no further questions for Jasir.
Okay. Did he receive any? So let me just say, and when I'm looking over here on the left, I have a laptop over here. And so I've pulled up the case file, not shoe shopping. It says the notice of exhibits was filed, but I don't actually see the exhibits.
Oh,
I hate to say I may,
Sorry, let me forward them to you.
oh, you have them.
That's my fault.
Oh, we've got them. Never mind. Take that back.
You want me to file them into the record? They were emailed to me this morning. You want me to file them?
I can,
Yeah, go ahead and file them in, just so I have them and know what they are, because I don't have the, well, I'll look at those after the calendar. Okay.
okay. And Your Honor, I do have all of the exhibits electronically. If you want me to share them on the screen, and I may in fact introduce them during Ms. Schupert's testimony. But
Okay, that would be good. I mean, she's
Okay.
emailed them to me, but however you'd like to do it, I can let you share screen and,
Okay.
hold
Your
on
Honor,
one second.
okay.
Where are you? All right. All right, you now should have that ability.
Okay, I'll do it as needed.
Okay,
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to call Khalil Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
okay.
Okay, Khalil, you've been sworn in by the judge already. And how old are you, Khalil?
I'm 19 now.
Okay. And how old were you at the time of the incident?
15.
And are you currently in school?
Yes, sir.
Where are you, Khalil?
An online institution called Penn Foster.
Okay, repeat it just for me. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Penn Foster. It's an online institution.
Okay, okay. All right. Thank you. Let's go back to May 16, 2007. Do you remember that day?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Around what time did this accident happen?
Around midday.
Okay. And what was the weather like?
It was dry roads. It was sunny.
Okay. And what kind of vehicle were you operating?
A moped scooter.
Okay. And who owned it?
I did.
About how long did you have that scooter?
Maybe a month.
Okay. And I would, Your Honor, like to, let me just pull up my, I'm gonna go back here. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Yeah, and here I'm problem. So I've got his, that's fine. Yeah, I pulled them up, but you're welcome to do it that way as well.
Okay.
I see Khalil's medical expenses on the list I've got. And while you're doing that, let me just, okay, I'll come back then. Go ahead. You can continue.
All right. Are you able, is this a fair and accurate depiction of the scooter that you were just referring to, Khalil?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Reach out to
And
Barker and see if they
I'll
reached any
move to
agreement.
have that admitted
back.
as exhibit 1, Your Honor, the photograph of the scooter. How long did you have the scooter, Khalil?
Maybe a month.
Okay.
Okay, that'll be
And-
admitted. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. And what area were you driving in at the time?
I was driving in. I was going past Weston into Camden Road.
Okay. And have you had any, had you been in that area before?
Yes, sir.
All right. Was there anyone with you on the vehicle?
My little brother.
All right, and that was Jasir who just testified?
Yes, sir.
All right, fair enough. And where were you all coming from?
The house.
Okay. And can you tell the judge what you remember about what happened on this day?
I just told my little brother we were going to see some friends in the apartment. So, we were driving up the street. It wasn't too far away. And that's when, the accident happened.
Describe for the judge what happened.
The light we was coming up. I moved to the bike lane because the cars were zooming past us. And coming up on the light, it was red, so I started to slow down. But then after that, it turned green, so I started to accelerate again. And once I became side by side with the truck, it turned on me, and I had no indication it was going to turn. So then turning, I tried to lean with it. I tried to turn and lean with it too, so I don't get hit. But unfortunately, I did.
And what happened once the truck hit you, as the truck was turning, you were not able to, as the truck was turning, you tried to turn, but you weren't able to get out of the way of the truck running into you?
No, so I was not able to get away.
Okay, and what happened once the truck hit you and your brother on the scooter?
I remember getting hit, but I don't remember anything. I just remember waking up on the floor and then looking for my little brother.
And when you say working up on the floor, do you mean like on the ground out there on the pavement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what was the condition? Did you notice any injuries?
Not at first. I was just trying to locate my little brother.
Chatted him?
Okay. After you located your brother, did you look at yourself and see any injuries that you had?
No, sir. It was pointed out to me.
Okay. Well, once they pointed out, what part of your body was injured?
My legs, my knees.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm gonna I hope nobody has too squeamish of a, let me see here 1 second. Oh, boy.
While you're looking for that, I'm just going to ask Ms. Doyle and Mr. Baker, were you able to reach an agreement?
Your Honor, Mark Baker, we discussed it, and here's what I presented to Ms. Doyle, that I believe we're here today on the remaining issue of attorney's fees, and that I don't have any authority to settle the case. And I would suggest that we move forward to obtain judgment, and then upon judgment, I would go to my client and ask and explain that Ms. Doyle was interested in trying to reach a settlement. And what I would expect to transpire is that then my client would say, okay, we need to consider certain financial information. I would gather that from Ms. Doyle and present it to the client and try to reach a settlement of some dollar amount less than the judgment amount.
All right. So what I'm going to have to do is, do you have a witness here? Oh, this was just on proof of fees. Oh,
Yes, Your Honor. And I filed an affidavit in support.
you did. All right. I hate to say this to you, but I'm going to have to ask you to wait till I finish taking evidence on this case. And then I'm going to come back to you before I handle the next case, and I'll be able to focus on your matter, give you a ruling, and then I'll move from there. But I just was, if you'd had an agreement, I would have taken it now, but I'll come back to you after I finish taking evidence on this case.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Davis.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. And is this, can you see the photograph there?
Yes.
Khalil?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, and that's a photograph of your knee, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Your Honor, I moved to have admitted photograph of Mr. Khalil Muhammad's. That is your left knee, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
It'll be admitted.
all right. Thank you. And Your Honor, if you have, I also have, just for the purposes of moving this along, if Your Honor has Exhibit 3, a photograph of both knees, I move to admit those as well.
They'll be admitted.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. So did a police officer come out to the scene?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and did you receive a ticket?
No, sir.
Okay, and who else came to the scene?
My mother, my sister, and the ambulance.
Okay, and how did you leave the scene?
In the ambulance with my little brother.
Okay, and you were taken to where?
The hospital.
All right. Other than your knee, do you remember any other part of your body hurting?
No, sir.
Okay. When you got to the hospital, what treatment did you receive? Do you remember?
No, sir.
Did you see any doctors for your leg?
Yes, sir. Just the one that stitched me up.
Okay, so you received stitches that day.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then did you go to a doctor after that to receive any further treatment?
No, sir.
Your
Oh,
doctor.
Dr. Freeman to get my stitches taken out.
Okay, all right. So and that was a couple weeks later.
Yes, sir.
Okay. After the stitches were taken out, were you able to do everything that you used to be able to do, or did it take any time?
No, sir. The only thing when my stitches first got taken out, I was able to do was walk around. But I couldn't play basketball like I used to.
Okay, so you couldn't play basketball after this.
No, sir. I had
How
to
long-
wait like. Say it again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, about how long did it take for you to be able to go back to playing basketball?
About a month.
Okay. Did you have any issues with your foot?
Yes, sir.
Tell the judge about what happened with your foot.
I'm used to playing basketball all the time, and for long periods of time, I'm very athletic. So, after this injury, now every time I play basketball or do anything for a certain amount of time, my leg and my foot start to hurt like really bad, like a bad discomfort.
And that it has been now, I guess, close to, at the time you were 15, you're 19 now, and that continues to this day.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And if I can ask, is it just your knee or is it all of your leg? Where can you be a little more specific?
It's from the knee down, mostly my feet now.
Okay.
It is like very discomfort.
Thank
Bad
you.
discomfort.
Okay. I want to just go to prior to this collision with the truck. Were you having any problems with your legs?
No, sir.
Were you having any problems with your feet?
No, sir.
Any problems with your knees?
No, sir.
And were you able to pretty much, sounds like you played basketball. Did you have any physical limitations prior to this collision with the truck?
No, sir.
Okay. And you've described after this accident, you've had problems with your feet and your legs. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what other activities other than basketball, what other activities did you participate in that now it is more difficult for you to participate in because of these injuries?
Track, football. I used to be a soccer coach, so that as well.
So you're not able to run track, play football, or work out with the soccer team?
No, sir.
Okay. Anything else that has changed with you as a result of being hit by this truck?
Well, I had the problem now. I don't like the picture you pulled up. Very disturbing for me, at least. I have little flashbacks on it. Like when I see a moped, when I'm around that area, I don't like being touched on my legs either. It bothers me.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, I don't have any further
Thank you.
questions. I'm going to, I would like to tender the medical records. We have EMS records, hospital records, and the PCP records, Your Honor. They all are certified and been provided to the court.
Yes, and just to verify, what I'm showing for Jasir is $3,386.85, and for Khalil, $5,489. Is that what we're working with?
No, let me go to, give me one moment, Your Honor. Let me pull up.
Okay.
I
I just want to make sure I have the right amounts.
Yep. So total, Your Honor, we were going to introduce our medical summary. Total we have for Khalil was $5,489. So
Okay,
the Grady EMS bill, $1,891.25. The Children's Healthcare of Atlanta bill, $3,442.75. And then teens, little ones, and children's pediatrics was an $155 bill. And
okay,
that would, so we have that medical summary with the, the medical bills summary, along with supporting medical bills, Your Honor, that we would tender as well for Khalil. And then for
Jasir.
Jasir, I'm just looking to grab his summary. Hold on just one second, Your Honor.
Good. What I saw file was 3386.85. I don't know if that's,
Yes.
okay.
And so I did have mom that is that can testify, and she's ready. If I could call her.
Okay.
That would complete our
Go ahead.
case. Okay.
And this is Miss Schubert.
Shumpert.
Shumpert, Miss Shumpert.
Schumpert, I'm sorry, Schumpert.
Yeah, I did the same thing in error as well. And good morning, Miss Shumpert. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How about you?
Good. I'm good. Thank you. I just want to go over, you are Jasir and Khalil's mother?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And on May 16, 2017, you were able to come to the scene of the accident?
Yes, sir.
Just briefly describe for the judge what you observed when you arrived on the scene.
When I arrived on the scene, it was the officer there. And I think shortly after is when the ambulance arrived, but it was a crowd of people. I just immediately, from what I can remember, I left my car in the middle of the street, and I just immediately, ran to see what was going on with my boys. They asked me to move the car before I could get to the boys. And by the time I seen them, they had them like on the sidewalk. Both of them was like on the sidewalk. Against it was a wall, and they had him leaned up against the wall, and I could see that his leg was badly injured. I really couldn't see anything that was going on with Jasir at the time.
I want to ask you, once you had a chance for his injuries,
He had some scrapes on his arms, his elbows, his legs, just some minor scrapes and bruises. Nothing too bad. He was in a little pain, and that was the extent of what I could see with him.
what did he have any stomach pains as well?
Yes,
Okay, so he had elbow, legs, stomach pains. Elbow, legs, stomach pains. Is that a fair assessment of what you remember?
yes.
Okay, all right. And do you recall how he was being treated at the hospital? What was his treatment?
They just really wanted to monitor him, and they gave him some pain medicine. And they also let me know that they was gonna send me home with some pain medicine for him, that he can take, every so many hours. But they just want to really monitor him and make sure that he was okay.
Okay. Did he see a doctor after the hospital? After leaving the hospital, was there another doctor he saw?
Yes, they both followed up with Dr. Freeman.
Okay. So I just want to go over the bills for Jasir. I think we have done this with Khalil, but the bills for Jasir that you received was a Grady EMS bill of $1,891.25. Is that correct?
Yes,
You also received from Children's Healthcare of Atlanta a bill of $1,445.60. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
And then from Teens, Little Ones, and Children's Pediatrics, you received a $50 bill.
Yes, sir.
And so for Jasir, you had a total in bills of $3,386.85.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Your Honor, I would tender Jasir's Muhammad's medical expense summary along with the medical bills that support that summary.
Okay, they'll all be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to turn our attention to Khalil. And can you?
So, and let me just say, I mean, he's testified to, I mean, he's not a minor. So,
That's correct.
yeah,
Fair
we're
enough,
we're
Your
good with that. Yeah,
We-
thank you.
We will move it along. Just one other question, just generally about Khalil. What other impact after this accident have you observed as it relates to Khalil and how he's been emotionally after this?
He's just like as he said before, like you can't touch him on the leg. You can't just, like if you even brush against that leg, he is just like really, really uncomfortable. The way his legs being touched at all. And any activity that he do, because he still try to participate with exercising and physical activity, but any activity that he pretty much participates in it's hard for him after the fact. Or standing for long periods of time. That's a hard thing for him. And he just doesn't like to talk about that day at all. Neither one of the boys. Because even with Jasir, he's a little bit more like, even when we get in the car, it's always, for a 12-year-old, it's always he's checking on everybody. You got your seatbelt on. You got, like he's like really, really nervous when it comes to vehicles. And may I say about the picture with the knee, that's actually an after picture because we receive any before pictures because that knee was actually open.
Mm,
So that's a picture after they was able to put the knee back together, sew them back together.
okay.
And
Thank you.
if I could ask just Mr. Davis, I don't know if you know this answer or it may be something one of your witnesses can tell me. Was there actually a diagnosis as it go in terms of the knee? Was there a tear, a bone injury? Do we know what that, if there was any?
I don't recall them giving me a diagnosis. No.
Okay,
I don't
thank
recall.
you. Okay,
And Your Honor, we have provided to the court the medical bills, the certified medical records as well. And I don't right off have any specific diagnosis as to why this pain persists, but it has, and it has over a 4-year period, Your Honor. So
okay.
I would if I don't have any other, thank you, Ms. Shumpert. I don't have, thank you. I don't have any other evidence, Your Honor, unless you have any other questions for the witness.
I don't.
Okay.
I
So-
don't.
Your Honor, as it relates to the damages, it would be our position that as for we would be requesting that the court consider for Jasir $25,000 verdict, and for Khalil a $500,000 verdict, Your Honor.
Is that inclusive or exclusive from the expenses, the actual medical
That
expenses?
Your Honor, would be exclusive of the medical.
Okay.
expenses.
So really a pain and suffering
That would
or
be pain.
beyond the medicals. Okay,
Pain and suffering beyond the medicals, Your Honor.
okay. Is there anything else?
Nothing else on behalf of the plaintiff, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to, I'll take that under advisement. I haven't looked at all the photographs and the expenses, but I'll take that under advisement and issue ruling probably later today. I want to thank the plaintiffs for being here. You seem like nice young men, and I'm sorry you had to suffer as a result of their dangerous vehicles when you're not in a car. But at any rate, I'm glad you're doing better, and thank you for being here. You folks are free to go.
Yes, no, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I think,
gentlemen. Thank you, ma'am.
so, thank you. Let me just ask, Mr. Bozeman, I have another case of yours, Anderson versus Deloney.
Yes, I have Miss Khadijah Anderson. She is here as well, Your Honor.
Okay, I thought I'd probably handle both of yours. Before I do that, let me go back to Mr. Baker and to Miss Doyle, but that's going to be the next one I'm going to take. Let me just find out. Let me hand that to you. So the only thing I'm missing on this case then is testimony as to attorney's fees, or were the fees, I can't remember which
13111, Your Honor, I think is
13.
the provision. And I believe they could be considered liquidated.
Okay, and so that was sort of what I was, and so, and what amount are you showing would be collectible?
The claim for attorney's fees is $13,726.19. And the damages claim, the breach of contract claim is,
That's the 45,000?
Your Honor, that 45,000 was the principal amount, but due to lack of payment over 15 years or more, the accrued interest brought the total debt up to 131,000. 2/15/16. And so the attorney's fees were calculated on that full debt amount.
Your Honor, may I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
When you gave the judgment on the claim, I was not notified, so I never had the opportunity to appeal the amount or request a hearing so that I could show why they should not collect this amount. So
Yeah,
I
this
didn't,
is,
I didn't understand that today we were only talking about attorney fees. I thought that I was going to get an opportunity to present my side, okay? Because I wasn't properly notified by the court. I didn't receive any notification.
so what happened is, and this may take longer for me to go into, and I've got these other folks here, but let me just say, they filed a motion for summary judgment saying legally, without consideration of any evidence, they're entitled to judgment on the note.
Okay,
And I was prepared to order that because they've made out their case legally. The
Okay.
concern that now I'm going to maybe have to consider is the amount of interest and attorney's fees are quite substantial. And the plaintiff does have to show that they've made efforts prior to now to try and collect this, as opposed to just sort of waiting 15 years and then coming and saying
They sent all the stuff in.
they did send it in. Okay, so they may have, and again, I apologize for not being, when I saw this on my calendar, I apologize for not having sort of delved into it more than maybe I should have, because I thought it was just a matter of fees and didn't fully appreciate that the amount of the interest was going to be so substantial. But I will say, I'm going to still have to review that. I'm not going to just automatically issue a judgment in the amount that's been requested, because the plaintiff does have to demonstrate that they've had made efforts all along in trying to collect this. So, and I don't know, in front of me right now, I don't have that information. My staff attorney just told me it's all in the file. And if that's the case, I will review that after court. But these are legal decisions such that it doesn't require, it would be improper for me to have any testimony related to factually what occurred.
I understand.
So, but again, I have this come up on occasion where there's an outstanding debt and sometimes the parties have not made appropriate efforts to collect. And then they just sort of 15 years later say, oh, we're owed this large amount of money. And I do have to look and see that all along there were efforts made to try and collect so that they're actually really entitled to the additional interest and so forth. So I'm going to basically take this matter under advisement. I'm going to review the record to see if legally they're entitled to this judgment. They may be. If that's the case and I issue a judgment, obviously it sounds like you're interested in making some sort of effort to try and pay this off. And if that's the case, even though there's a judgment, it's always better to try and make arrangements to pay off some of it, because then that's within your control. The problem happens if you don't make payments and they use legally whatever methods they can to come and collect it. That's when all of a sudden you find out your wages have been garnished or your savings account has been garnished. And that's sort of more of a surprise that you really don't want. So I'm going to take this under advisement. I'm going to have to look at the record. I'm getting a note here from my staff attorney. Is that?
The order on summary judgment went to Eugenia Doyle at gina.ginadoyle.com. She received it, but she did not open the email.
Okay,
In
so,
fact, all filings were sent there.
okay, so apparently all these filings were sent to an email address that we have. What is that again? Gina,
Gina.ginadoyle.com.
Gina.ginadoyle.com. That's not your correct. No.
That's the reason why I didn't receive anything. It's
Okay.
Gina@ginadoyle.com.
That's right.
Oh, Gina@ginadoyle.com.
Gina@
Oh, that's what she said.
ginadoyle.com. She received everything and did not
Okay.
open it.
She's saying that we did send it to the correct address and none of it was opened.
Okay, maybe it went into spam. I'm not.
It might have. So let me, but again, I'm going to take this under advisement and go through the file. If he's entitled to judgment legally, I'm going to have to grant it. But again, I have to look through and see what efforts were made. Because whenever I do see these interest and fees exceed the amount of the original note, it raises flags in my mind. So I want to be sure that efforts were made all along. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't know, is there another email that you want to give? Miss, I'll tell you what, you know how to use the chat function on this?
That's a good email. And if I know that you're getting ready to send something to me, I will definitely check the spam.
Thank you. I would check with him the next. Right, you won't know, but you need to check your spam and see if there's been an issue, okay?
So would you say like in the next 10, 15 days?
Oh, I'll probably rule in the next 2-3 days. I mean,
Okay.
I'll take a look at it. I've got another calendar at 1, but after that, I'm going to sit down and go over what I did today. And so I hopefully will have time to look at that. And that would mean an order would go out to you in the next day or so, okay?
Okay.
All right,
right.
thank you for your patience. You're free to go. Thank you, Mr. Baker. I'll take a look at the file and I'll be able to issue judgment. And Ms. Abrams is asking Mr. Baker if you could send her a proposed order. If you would also copy Ms. Doyle on that, please.
Absolutely. Sure. will.
Thank you both very much.
All right.
All right. So let me go back to position 5. Again, Mr. Davis's case. And is Tamisha Deloney on the call or counsel for it? And I see someone with a raised hand. I don't know.
That's me trying to get out. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Actually, Judge, that was me, Danielle O'Deary.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Judge. And I'm not really trying to jump the line, but I do.
Oh, yes, you are. What do you have?
Okay, I'm trying to jump the line.
It's fine. It's fine.
Thank you, Mawali. So I am asking for that this matter be continued. My client, I don't know if you recall, but the last time we were here, we have an insurance company out of Texas that has gone insolvent. In the meantime, we have found some viable insurance in this case.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah, we have found some viable insurance in this case. We have gotten sent the complaint out for service as of last week, and we're waiting to get back the certificate of service.
Okay, I'm happy to continue and reset it. I think that's appropriate because I'm sorry. How long do you think you'll need?
Well, it's at least 60 days so that we can.
Okay, that's good to know. So it'll probably be July.
Okay, thank you.
That would be about right. No, that was probably smart because after this, I've got one other case that also is going to require testimony. So I don't want to make you, although now I see Joe's hands raised. Yes, sir.
Hey, good morning, Your Honor. I actually filed a motion for continuance.
Oh, on Scott?
Yeah, my client finished some treatment this past month, and we don't have the records for those yet. So I was trying to get those records. So I was asking for a couple of months on that.
That's great. We'll be happy to do that. No problem. So you need a few months on that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, maybe July or August, maybe August, just to be sure you've gotten all the treatment finished. And you mean you didn't want to hear Mr. Davis artfully present damages again on another case?
As great as he is, and as much as I love him.
And we should feel so special that he's graced us with his presence, because he's a busy man now.
Come on, Judge. It's good to see you.
He deserves everything he gets, Your Honor.
There you go.
He works hard.
All right. Tell your wife hello. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
All right. So now let's go back to what should be our last case. Is there anyone here that's on another case? I'm seeing Miss Scott. What case are you here on? I can't hear her.
I'm sorry, I'm with Joe Morris, so I was trying to.
Oh,
pull up
you're
the
free to
tab
go.
leave.
Yes, you're free to go, ma'am. Thank you. That's what I
Okay,
thought.
thank you. All right.
And Miss
bye-bye.
and Gowan Bell, you are also free to go. That case is going to be continued for a few months as well. Thank you. All right.
Danielle, that's,
Okay, that's her. All right. So this is Khadijah Anderson versus Tamisha Deloney, case number 20 EV 003909. And we need some testimony, Mr. Davis.
Yes, Your Honor. I have Miss Anderson present here. And would you like me to swear the witness, Your Honor?
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, Miss Anderson, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony in the matter before the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You can lower your hand. And can you just state your whole name for the record, Miss Anderson?
My name is Khadijah Anderson
Okay, and where do you currently live, Miss Anderson?
in Vallejo, California.
Okay, sunny California. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And are you originally from California?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I want to go back to the date of this collision. May 26, 2019, is that correct?
Yes.
Can you tell the judge why you were in Georgia, what you were doing in Georgia that day?
My youngest sister, it was her birthday, and we have a cousin that live out there. Her name is Linnea Myers, and she wanted us to come out and enjoy my sister's birthday out there in Atlanta. It was our first time out. So we all agreed to fly out to Atlanta to enjoy her birthday. I ran into one of my old high school friends, and she wanted to go out, so I ended up going out with her.
Okay. How long were you in Atlanta?
We were in Atlanta for 5 days.
Okay. And what day of the trip did this happen?
The second day.
Oh, wow. Okay. What do you do for a living?
I was a mail carrier before the accident.
So before the accident, who'd you carry mail for?
I carry mail for Benicia, California at the U.S. Postal Service.
Okay. So you were a U.S. Postal Service worker at the time?
Correct.
Okay. Did you return to California on the date you originally intended?
No.
Okay.
And why not?
Because my injuries, I wasn't ready to travel yet. I couldn't even get up during the time of the act. I mean, like after the accident, I couldn't get up. So I wanted to wait until I was healed enough to stand up and get back on the plane.
Okay. So when you say get up, you mean literally you were not able to stand up?
No, I couldn't stand up on my own.
Okay, understood. Let's turn your attention to May 26, 2019, the date of this collision, okay? Around what time did this collision occur?
It happened around 5 a.m.
Okay. And where were you coming from?
First, we came from a bar, and then we ended up going to a Waffle House after. We sat at the Waffle House for about an hour or so, and then we drove back. We were headed back to my cousin's house.
And who was driving at the time?
Tamisha Deloney.
Okay. And who is Tamisha Deloney?
She was I've known her since middle school, but I haven't seen her since high school. So she was she was a friend of mine.
Okay. And you use the language was?
Yes.
No longer a friend of yours?
No.
Okay. What was the weather like that night or early morning hours?
It was dry. It wasn't raining or anything. It was a nice morning.
Okay. So after you left the Waffle House, can you tell the judge what happened? Just explain what happened.
I'm sorry.
Take your time. Take your time. I know this is your first, this is your day in court, and we want you to be able to describe what happened, okay?
We were driving from the Waffle House, and she was driving really fast, like almost to 100. And I'm like, before we even got into the accident, I said, Tamisha, please, can you slow down? You're going too fast. She like, I've been living out here for a long time. I know these roads. I'm fine. This is what she told me. I'm like, but Tamisha, I'm getting nervous. Like, you're going too fast. Just slow down. So my cousin in the back seat was like, you need to slow down. She like, y'all keep telling me I know what I'm doing. So as she driving fast, she turns the vehicle and I see the truck flying towards us. I screamed her name. I'm like, Tamisha. As soon as I screamed her name, the car slammed into my door, my side of the door. And then when it slammed, we spent out. And I just remember the car spinning. And once it stopped, my seatbelt was, the airbag came out and everything, but the seatbelt was jammed. I couldn't get the seatbelt off at first. It was cutting into my skin. I remember trying to take the seatbelt off. So when I finally got the seatbelt off, I'm like, I couldn't even talk. My sternum bone was broken at the time. So as I'm getting the seatbelt off, my door is jammed in from the impact. So I use my elbow. I get the door open. I just fall on the ground. That's all I remember is just falling on the ground.
So let me back up a little bit and ask a couple of other questions, Ms. Anderson. I know this is difficult. Thank you for sharing what happened. Where were you in the car? Were you in the?
Yes.
You were in the passenger side of the vehicle being driven by Miss Tamisha Deloney. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The truck. Where did the truck strike the vehicle?
The truck struck the vehicle in between my door and in the back passenger door. So it was like, it hit my side and the back door a little bit, but it mostly hit my door.
Okay. You were able to get out of the vehicle, forcing the door open. You fall onto the ground. Tell the judge what happens next.
As I'm on the ground, I just remember going in and out. I was hearing people talk, but I couldn't talk back. I heard my cousin, she was in the back seat. She was screaming, her arm was broke. I didn't hear much from Tamisha. I don't know, she never came around and checked on me or anything. When the police came, I heard the police saying, is everybody okay? He was asking me questions, but I couldn't talk. I just grabbed my chest. I just kept telling him, like, I was patting my chest, like, this is where it hurt. And then after that, once I got in the ambulance truck, I don't remember anything after that. I don't even remember getting to the hospital.
So tell the judge, where did you wake up? You were transported by ambulance. Where did you wake up?
I woke up in Grady Hospital.
Okay. And what was your understanding of what happened with your chest?
My understanding is that I broke my sternum bone.
And was there some treatment that was necessary because of the break of your sternum?
Well, I had to I did a lot of x-rays and everything. They gave me a lot of pain meds. I had to do physical therapy after.
Did you do surgery?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes, I did surgery also. Sorry about that.
No,
Yes.
no, that's fine. I know it's a lot going on in this emotional moment. I just want you to explain that you did have a surgery. Is that correct?
Yes.
And was that at Grady?
Yes, it was.
And what was your how long did they tell you it would take for you to heal after that surgery?
After the surgery, they said it can take up to 4 to 6 months to heal.
Okay. And after the surgery, can you describe to the judge what your limitations were in terms of what were you able to do or not?
After the surgery, I wasn't able to do nothing during that time. Like, I couldn't lift, I couldn't stand, I couldn't shower. I couldn't do anything on my own. I couldn't cook. I couldn't do anything. After I healed, I tried to do more, I tried to go back to work after about 7-8 months. And it just didn't work for me. I couldn't lift the same. I couldn't stand the same. I was traumatized just from the accident. It was hard for me because I drove a bus. Because I drove a mail truck, it was hard for me to focus on driving because I always seemed like somebody was going to run into me.
So I want to back up just a little, okay? Just take your time. This is your day in court, so I just want to give you a second. How many months were you unable to do those basic things that you described? You needed help standing, you needed help showering. How long did that last?
That lasted about 3 months.
Okay. Then after that, how long was it before you tried to return to work?
I tried to return back to work after 7.5 months.
Okay.
I tried to go back. They gave me limited duty. And, I was doing as much as I could, but it just became too much.
Okay. And so how did the job situation, you had a U.S. Postal job. How did that resolve? What did you end up doing as it relates to the job?
I ended up having to resign. I talked to my boss and she tried to, she tried to see if I could stay, tried to figure out different ways for me to carry the mail, but it was too overwhelming and too overbearing for me.
And do you recall at the time of your injury, prior to your injury, how much you were making a year?
I was making about $44,000.
Okay. And that was in, give me the date. That was in 2019.
Yes.
You were making 44,000. And how old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay. And at the time of the accident, you were how old?
At the time of the accident, I was
29.
29. I would have been 30 in September, so 29, yes.
Okay. And was it your intention to retire as a postal worker?
Yes, sir. I was there for almost 6 years. That was my career.
You had been working there 6 years?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, we have the Grady medical records that we have provided to the court, the certified records, and I would like to tender them at this time.
You're going to need, though, to email those to Ms. Abrams. I saw something was filed, what? Or upload them, either email her a copy. So let me just say, I'm not requiring you to pay to e-file them, but if you want to just email them to Ms. Abrams and then we can take care of it.
Okay, I will have that handled. 1 second, Your Honor. I just want to make sure I'm getting my notes. All right. I want to just walk through a couple things. Ms. Anderson, can you describe, obviously before you started back, or at least attempted to go back to working, did you have any physical therapy?
I did, yes.
What was the physical therapy that, how often did you take physical therapy?
Once a week.
And did that resolve any issues for you?
It made it a little better, but it still didn't do the full recovery like I thought it would have.
What areas of your body continued to be in pain even after the physical therapy?
This area right here, it was still very painful, very tender.
When you say this area, can you describe what your motion?
That's my sternum, where my sternum was broken at, the whole chest area in between.
Mm-hmm.
It was very painful still after.
Okay. Any other parts of your body that you continue to have pain with?
Yes, my lower back.
And do you, to this day, continue to have pain with your lower back?
Yes, it's hard for me to sit for too long without my back being in pain.
Okay. And obviously you received medical bills from the providers, is that correct?
Yes,
And you had the you talked about traveling in an ambulance and that you received a bill for that treatment, correct?
correct.
So that would be the American Medical Response.
Yes, that's correct.
And that bill was $2,079.
That's correct.
Then you talked about your waking up in Grady Hospital, and your treatment there, including surgery, was $79,759.73. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then as a part of your treatment, there is a physician's bill with the Emory Medical Care Foundation Incorporated, and that bill was $730.
That's correct.
And it looked like you had Kaiser. So you had a Kaiser bill as well.
That's correct.
And that Kaiser bill was $12,073.50. Is that right?
That's correct.
And so your total bills were $92,593.23. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And so at this time, Your Honor, I'd like to tender, and we've provided to the court a medical bill summary along with the supporting medical bills that total $92,593.23.
Okay, so for the purposes of the trial, we'll admit the evidence and you're going to submit that subsequent. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. So did you have lost wages?
Yes.
And how much time did you miss from where you were just unable to work at all from your job?
Or do you mean like when I finally resigned, or?
No, prior to. Yeah,
Oh,
before you had to resign. How much
Yeah,
did you?
prior to that, I was only working three to 4 hours a day. So I was missing an extra 4 hours every day.
But so let's do it this way. We're going to do it kind of in phases. The first phase, you weren't able to work at all, correct?
Correct.
And how many months did that phase go? Was that the 6 months or 7 months? How long was that?
Yeah, that was about the 7.5 months.
So for 7.5 months, no work. Then you went back to working half days. Is that right?
That's correct.
How long did you work half days?
I worked half days for another 6 months.
Okay. And then after that, you just resigned straight out.
Yes.
And you resigned at age, and I think you mentioned you resigned at age what? At 30?
30, yes.
Okay. And I've got to ask you these questions. I know
No
this is probably a little self-evident, but prior to the collision, were you able to work?
Yes.
And you were able to carry mail?
Yes.
Did you have any problems with your sternum?
No, sir.
Any problems with your back?
No, sir.
Any physical conditions that limited your activity in any way?
No, sir.
Okay. And after the collision, I think you have, in addition to not being able to work the job that you intended on retiring from, what are the other limitations that you've experienced?
Limitations now, I used to ride bikes a lot. I used to do hair. I can't stand up to do my anyone's hair anymore. it's hard for me to just sit straight. If I sit straight more than 2 hours, then it bothers my back. So I'm not able to do the things that I used to as far as riding bikes, exercising. I can exercise to a limit, but without the pain. But once I exercise too much, then the pain comes. When it gets cold, my sternum bothers me. Yeah, that's pretty much
Okay.
how it is.
All right. And you have, in your honor, I'd like to share screen again. You provided our firm a photograph of your post-surgery, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right, Your Honor, I'd like to share that photograph here. And with your permission, Ms. Anderson, can I share that photograph? I know it's,
Yes.
sensitive area, but.
Yes, sir.
Let me see if I can. And are you able to see this photograph, Ms.
Yes.
Anderson? And Ms. Anderson, this is the, when was this photo taken?
This was taken right after I was out of surgery.
Okay. And do you still may have a scar?
Yes, I still are.
Okay. All right, Your Honor, I'd move to admit what I would believe to be plaintiff's exhibit B.
Be admitted.
Okay. Thank you. And we'll email it to the court, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. I'll stop sharing screen. Your Honor, I don't have any further questions for Ms. Anderson, but I thought the court might, but if not, I can go into closing and where we think these damages should lie.
Ms. Abrams, before I forget, has just asked if you could send a proposed order. That would be helpful when we're done. But let me just ask, so is your client working now?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, and what date did you resign?
I resigned March 30th, 2020.
20. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just make sure I don't have any other questions. Yeah, I guess with COVID, it wasn't a great time to start looking for a job, that's for sure. So that's been problematic. Let me just see you, other than, and I don't mean to minimize it by any means, but the major part of the, you have some low back pain, I guess. Did you do physical therapy for that?
I didn't do physical therapy for my lower back, only because I was taking the medication that they gave me and it was taking the pain away during, every time I took it. So I just didn't do it for my lower back.
Okay, but you did, did you have some physical therapy for your sternum?
Yes,
you did. Okay. All right, that's probably all the questions I have. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, I'd like to kind of do this in three parts. The first is the pain and suffering. Pain and suffering to this day. We would ask that Ms. Anderson, for the pain and suffering up until from the time of the collision until today, that she would receive $500,000 in pain and suffering for the current pain and suffering. Your Honor, we are now some 2 years removed from the collision. She continues to have pain to the point that it has prevented her from being able to work the job that she intended on retiring from. So as it relates to future pain and suffering, we're it is our position that there's sufficient evidence that there will be future pain and suffering going into the future. So we would ask that the court would consider $1.5 million in future pain and suffering. She is 31 now, and so going into the future. Additionally, we would ask the court to consider the fact that of her lost wages. So she lost 7.5 months of wages, which we calculated. We did the math. So she lost about 62% of her income of $44,000. So that would be.
Yeah, and I know your finger, I sort of, while she was testifying, was doing a little bit, and I got about 25,000 for the 7 months and about almost 11,000 for half days for 6 months to come to about 36,000. I don't know if that comports with what you figured.
Exactly, Your Honor. And then I would look at the fact that she's lost this future employment. In the old days, they would say, and I think probably today, postal workers and certain jobs are what we would consider good jobs, really good jobs with really good benefits. And she no longer has the capacity to do what she envisioned being her dream job that she would retire from. And so at age 30, she lost that opportunity. And when we do the math, if she were to work, if she would have worked that job for 35 years, retire 65, maybe younger, but we're all in much better health than we've ever been. So if she would have worked that job, and I'm really kind of controlling it at 44,000, but of course we know she would have got stepped increases over the years. If you just had it at 44,000, that would be it'd be $1,540,000, Your Honor. And so I would ask the court to also award the future lost wages of $1,540,000. So when we add that with the 36,000 plus the 36,000 plus the 2 million, we're asking that the court would award $3,576,000 for the pain and suffering, future pain and suffering, lost wages, and the her loss of wages in the future.
And her meds. Okay. So I'll get your order, take this under advisement. To what extent this is going to be collectible, obviously, is problematic, I'm sure. So, Ms. Anderson, I'm very sorry for your circumstance. Obviously, it sounds like a terrible, terrible collision, and I'm sorry I'm a parent, so whenever I tell my kids, I'm sure now, unfortunately, you learned this the hard way. Nothing good happens after midnight, and I'm just sorry for you had to experience that. It sounds like it was really awful. And I will be able to award a good amount of what's been requested. I just want to go over the numbers in terms of the lost wages. I hope you're able to find employment soon now that where COVID is hopefully, I don't know what's going on in California, but it's a little better here in Georgia. So we'll issue something either today or tomorrow. If you can just get those records filed, Mr. Davis, that'll be just so I can go through those. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Abrams, I'll send everything to you, Ms. Abrams.
We got it.
Okay.
Ms. Anderson, did you have any questions for me?
No, No, thank you so much, Your Honor.
Thank you. And you know, in the end, I know you do have to be grateful you're alive. It sounds like a horrible accident and you need to be grateful that majority of your health seems to have come back and that's important. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you, Ms.
very
Anderson,
much.
for allowing us to represent you in this. Thank you. And
Thank
we'll
you.
follow with you shortly.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank you, Your Honor.
Who
We
is
have nothing
Miss-
further. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks. Miss Lizandra Padilla, I'm sorry you're still here. That case, you know what? That case, the counsel for the plaintiff was on the call and they've asked for the case to be continued. And so it's going to be continued for about 2 or 3 months. So you'll get notice of a new court date, the same way you did for today. Okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Is there a reason for it to be scheduled again? Like why?
They apparently, the person who was injured had some additional medical expenses. I don't know what they are. And so they were trying to get those bills together.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's all I know.
And I'll be receiving a paper through the mail for that?
How did you get notice for today?
Through the mail?
That's how you'll get it for, unless you have an email address you want to give us. Either way.
No, I'll just receive it through the mail.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Sorry you had to wait through all that.
No, it's fine. I mean, nobody, because I was on the call, but nobody told me that
We did, and I should have, and I'm sorry for that. I didn't realize we had you on the call as well, and maybe plaintiff's counsel should have told me. So thank you, ma'am.
I had one more question.
Yes.
I don't know if you seen the case already or anything, but would you recommend me getting a lawyer for that?
So I'll ask a question. Did you have insurance or not?
Yes.
Okay, they should be here representing you.
Okay.
Did you notify them?
It
when you were sued?
it was under my dad's insurance. I was just driving the car that day.
You might want to contact your insurance company because they should be representing you on this, his insurance company or yours.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. All right, that's all, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.